Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Karen Ferguson at Ferguson Family Chiropractic coming to you for our Fun Fact Friday. We are talking this entire year about brain health and loving your brain. Why? Because your brain controls everything. And this gentleman here has just captivated me, which is the reason why that I want to focus on it. Because really, when personal share of mine is I did get COVID. It was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And, I had a really, really bad headache for about a day and a half. Like it would not go away. I've never had a headache. It felt like a vice grip on me. And I had a fever, and I take very, very good care of myself. And so once it was time for me to go back into the office, it was just through normal activity of things that I love. Everybody knows I absolutely love what I do. But because of the stress on my brain, all of a sudden my brain went into this anxious state. It was like a different part of me took over. And so there was just fatigue and tiredness, and so it's like, what is going on? And one of the side effects of COVID is there can be inflammation still in the body. And depending on how healthy somebody's brain is, for instance, with myself, determined, could I recover from it? So I have been, really looking high and low. I've been a health nerd for, over 3 decades, and wanted to learn more to help my brain, and therefore teach other people, because the way that a person can really even understand something more is to teach it. So I'm actively doing all the things that I talk to you about. And so this month we're talking about Dr. Daniel Amen. He is a medical psychiatrist, and so he got into learning about the brain when his first wife, when he was in his second year at med school, and she tried to commit suicide. And so he became fascinated with the brain, and he is a regular medical physician. And after he had been practicing for a while, he started looking into different images of the brain. And so because most people, whether you're a cardiologist, or a chiropractor, we're looking at your spine, we'll take x-rays, but this important piece of our body, people aren't looking at the brains and what's functioning with the brain. So with his background in x-ray, he came up with imaging, and he's been looking at the brains. And so people who either lose their memory or have different mental health issues, is many times what he has found out is it's been a brain issue. And he now is a functional medicine psychiatrist with his 11 risk factors and health factors. So you want to avoid these certain things, and you want to implement other things in what he calls the bright minds. So February is about the B, which is blood flow. And one way to increase the blood flow is through exercise. And Dr. Ashley talked about symptoms that you can have when you have blood flow. Did you know that blood flow is the number one predictor, and lack of blood flow is whether you're going to have Alzheimer or not? And if you have any heart issue, heart condition, if you're impotent, which 40% of men that age 40 are, and 70% of men age 70 are, you have a brain issue as well, and it's affecting the blood flow in your brain. If you have poor circulation, you have a blood flow issue. If you have high blood pressure, that robs your body of blood pressure. These are all factors. So one way to increase your blood flow is through exercise, because when you're exercising, it doesn't have to be a long time. The wonderful thing about the brain is called neuroplasticity, is that it will evolve and change. You're not stuck with the brain that you have. You can make a difference. So you add in all these bright mind things. So what kind of exercise do you want to do? Well, if you're doing aerobic exercise, it improves cognitive function. If you're doing resistance exercise, whether you're using a resistance band or you're using light weights, that affects your executive function. And there's different parts in the brain. The hippocampus will get affected. The hippocampus is here. So by you exercising, you're saying, I love my brain. And the hippocampus, it shrinks when you don't have blood flow. That's why you don't have good memory. And so how do you do that? How do you change it? You want to increase blood flow. So that way your hippocampus starts to wake up. So what kind of exercises do you want to do? Well, one that you're just going to do. Find something that you like. You can start off with walking 30 minutes. You can go do a light jog for 15 minutes. You can do yoga. You can do, Dr. Amen is big into the racket sports, or take up a dancing class, because then you're stimulating the cerebellum. Because the cerebellum, believe it or not, we thought it was just about coordination, but 80% of the neurons are actually in the cerebellum. And so that affects the cognitive function as well. So if you're doing different things and you're learning different skills, like with dancing, you gotta, literally, haha, no pun intended, but kind of, is be on your toes. So any kind of racket sports or dancing, I'm now playing a lot of ping pong with my son. So again, it's back and forth, left and right. So again, what it's doing is promoting the brain plasticity. It's lowering your chance or your risk of getting Alzheimer's. So we've got 3 pounds of fat right between our ears, and we want to love that. Here we are into the month of February, and Valentine's is the best way you can show yourself that you love yourself, is taking care of the very thing that takes care of you, which is your brain. It does so much. You want people to have brain envy, be like, I want that. Okay, but you have to work at it. And you can work at it through getting moving, get that blood flowing. When you're doing yoga, make sure you can do, one way is doing inversion poses, where you do a downward dog where your head is lower than the rest of your body. But the main thing is that you're doing something. 15 minutes a day, everybody has that. Out of 24 hours a day, 15 minutes is not that much, okay? Because people are sitting down all the time, their shoulders are rolled forward, everything is getting squinched, those blood vessels aren't getting a workout, and so we want that to stretch. When you pick up the heart rate, right, the blood vessels go like this, so that way they can be more pliable, and they're not gonna become more brittle and crack, which can increase your chance of having a hemorrhage up in your brain or a stroke. Okay, so it's all about increasing that blood flow. So that is my Fun Fact Friday. I love and appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful, amazing day. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Also share this video. We appreciate you. Go love your brain and go move your body. Bye.